Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kat. So today I want to discuss a topic that could be very personal to every and each of you. And I understand it's a conversation that maybe you should talk with your partner, but why not hear a third person's point of view? Because I recently had my first kid, and those are kind of the thinking process I went through, and I thought why not sharing with people, because I just got so many questions about when or how that I decided to have a kid. So I want to share this in this video, and hopefully this could bring some different perspective to you if you're considering something like this or struggling if you should have a kid. If you're new to my channel, I'm Kat. That on my channel I discuss careers, jobs, everything about healthcare, but I also talk about life as a working mom and all these thoughts around having a kid. If you're interested, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video so I can share more such kind of chit-chat conversation with you. Without further ado, let's get started. First and foremost, I think it's very important is mentally, are you ready? I think this is very important and a key topic to discuss with yourself, with your partner, and with your family. Because having a kid is a lot, if you haven't heard enough already. It is losing sleep, it is burden on yourself if you're a mom. There's a lot of physical things that you have to do as a woman, as the mom of the child. But even you're a dad, are you mentally ready to support everything that your partner is gonna do and everything around your family? That's why I think mentally ready is the first and foremost key point I want to mention. Having a kid should be a thinking process that you have considered over and over, not just a rash decision. Because I heard so many stories about the honeymoon child, but a lot of stories about, actually we didn't plan this. This is by accident, we're at our honeymoon, or whatever occasion that was. But we didn't plan this. We're not ready, even though we're, 40, we're not ready to have the kid. So I think regardless what stage you're at, being mentally prepared is very important. You should have this discussion with your partner, with your family. And if there are any other reasons that push you to have a kid, you should take it slow if you or your partner is not ready, right? You two are going to be the parents of this kid. This kid has no choice. He or she was born because you guys decide to have him or her. So you need to be responsible, at least being mentally ready to be a parent. Having a kid for the first few months, it is a huge challenge on your relationship. Regardless how strong you think your relationship is, trust me, there's gonna be challenge along the way. I'm sure you guys will be okay afterwards, but right at that moment when both of you are so tired, so sleep deprived, and baby is still crying, it is a lot, okay? And then there will be a bit fights, a bit sadness, a bit frustration, something worse could happen, but just hang on there. It's gonna be over someday. You have to know that before you have the kid. I just cannot emphasize that enough. And being mentally prepared also means, have you thought about the life after having a kid? Your lifestyle would change. It's not gonna be just, you two go somewhere whenever, wherever you want. You cannot just grab your backpack, grab your purse and leave. When you have a kid, it takes a lot more time just to put the kid in the car, okay? The kid might cry when you want to put him in the car seat. The kid might poop and pee and vomit, do a lot of things that is unplanned. And you have to take the diaper bag, you gotta take the stroller, you might want to take a carrier. There's a lot more things to consider. You have to bring the milk if you're not, breastfeeding. It's a lot of things that you have to, mentally organize. Of course, you can get there, after a few practice, but the lifestyle change is drastic. If you were, going to brewery every weekend, now probably it's not a good idea. So the first 4 months-ish, you're going to be completely changed from your previous kind of lifestyle. You'll be in the house looking horrible, then brush your teeth, then have sleep, and you have to take care of that baby. So after all these items that you've thought through, then here comes more practical questions, right? First, I would say is your age. As a scientist, I know how age of the mother and the father could impact the health of the child. So if you could have the child early after you know that you're ready, as early as possible is a better choice, right? Before we all thought, oh, mother over 30, mother over 35, gonna have impact, or over 40, gonna have a drastic impact on the kid's health and intelligence. But of course, later researchers also showed the sperm from the dad also contributes a lot to the health of the child, but in different aspects. So for example, if the age of the dad is over 30, the quality of the sperm could drastically decrease, right? And also the probability of the kid having autism also increases. And those are just research that are published. There are a lot of unknown about age, but the consensus is always the earlier the better. There's just no question about that. That's just from the pure genetic perspective. But also, if you think about if you're in your 20s, you have a lot more energy to give to the kids versus if you're in your 30s, 40s even, you still have to get up at 2 a.m. to feed the baby. That's a lot of burden on your body that, if you're millennials, you've probably seen all these reels or TikToks showing how millennials don't want to go out after 9 p.m. because we are just old. We cannot handle late night drinks, bar hopping, not to mention a baby. So if you can have it early, have it early. As a woman, you should also know that the quality of the egg reduced drastically after you're 35. So if you know that you want a kid in the future, but not right now, maybe think of different solutions, possibly freezing your egg or have a backup plan ready if you know you're gonna have a kid, but just not right now, but you're over 35. I have a few of my friends that have to go through the rough IVF or IUIs, different techniques trying to get pregnant, and this is not a joke. It's a toll on women's body. And if you can use other ways to do it, maybe try to do it early. Next is if you're financially ready. And ironic is the financial stability is always the opposite of the age, right? If you're young, you don't have money. If you're old, you have money, but you don't have the time. So it's always about a balance. And when I say financially ready, it's not just, if your income is good enough, if you've saved enough for your retirement, or if you're on the track of a safety net. It's also set up the success for your kid. You cannot just say that, oh yeah, I'm done, but have no financial literacy on how to set up the success of your child. That include the college fund for the child, that also include the insurance, if you have life insurance on yourself, in the case of the worst happens. There's a lot of planning around when you have a baby. And before I got pregnant, I actually took a few courses on the financial literacy around education and, about family planning. And I will probably share those in my future videos as well. This also kind of correlates to the next point I'm going to talk about is the family help. Have you talked to your family if or how they're going to support you having the child? Would your parents or your parents-in-law coming to help? How would they help physically or, monumentally? Like, how would they help you? Because that also ties, again, like I said, the financial aspects, because if they don't help you, you have to send the kid to the daycare. And when do you send them to daycare? Each daycare costs differently, but that's money and you have to budget that. And when you have a kid, on top of budgeting just the money, you also have to plan around the schedule of sending the kid to the daycare when you pick the kid from the daycare, because if you're working, trust me, it's not going to be an easy task because the daycare ends early and you want to maybe enroll the kid into an after school program or extend your daycare all the way to 5 or 6 p.m. And you have to choose the daycare that's allowed that option. So there's a lot of planning around it, right? When they say it takes a village to raise the kid, it is true. if you could have the help from your family, that would definitely be the best option. But also, of course, that's a conversation between you and your partner and your family. And lastly, which is totally overthinking here, but we thought about that, is where should the kids kind of go to school or long term? Because I'm from China, so we do plan around that, sending the kid to China for school down the road and have him pick up the Chinese, right? So if you would like to introduce a second language or, plan those things, that's a different type of planning. So we now, for example, teach him Chinese all the time when we talk to him. Well, we meaning I. And because my mom's here, so my mom also speaks Chinese to my child. And down the road, we have to plan, when and how he's gonna go to school in China. There are different documents, different relationships have to be built for him to go to school in China, right? So it's a lot of planning around. But of course, that's very specific to my family. But if you, as immigrants, would like to incorporate some of your culture or even your country background to your kids, that's additional planning on top of that. But just be aware, that's something extra you have to think about. But of course, all of those are just my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. I just want to share those with you because you're never ready to have a kid. But as long as you achieve, let's say 70-80% of what I said, I think you're there. And if you've made your choice, if you've made your decision, congratulations. You're one step closer to additional happiness, which I definitely feel every day. When I didn't have my kid, people who have kids always tell me, it's the joy that you experience from your child is different level than you winning awards or achieve big at work. I definitely didn't comprehend that, but right now, I think I understand it, and it's really hard to explain to people who don't have kids or to people who are not ready for the kids and had a very chaotic relationship with their child. And I hope those don't happen to you. Well, if you like such video, please thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.